Hello and welcome to the Auto Blends 3D car creation channel. I did a schoolboy error really on this last recording. I recorded it without sound, so I'm going to do a voiceover here to see if I can redeem it rather than re-recording it. So I'll start the video off so you can see it. Hold on a second, so press play and I'll put full screen on. So here we've got we're looking at the next episode of the 1905 star Gordon Bennett racer. What we're going to do in this episode is the bonnet and shape the body in to the bonnet. There's a curve there, as you can see on here, and that's what I'm showing you now. So there's the bonnet, and there's a firewall, that brass strip or whatever around there is the firewall. So what we'll be doing is shortening the bonnet and introducing a firewall. As I was pointing out, that's some sort of gauge on the top there, whether it's water gauge or fuel gauge or whatever in those old cars, I'm not sure. So there I'm pointing out that the curve is where the body meets the front of the firewall. So I was just starting out here. So putting it in solid just to see where we were. So that corner needs rounding, and the bonnet needs shortening. So that's what we were doing there. So if you select both of those, then press Ctrl I, then H to hide everything. Now I'm selecting the bonnet. I'm going into wireframe mode. And dragging it back to the end of the bonnet. And remember, there looks like a splay on the top, but it's not. It's that is perspective. So if you looked on it in a proper side view, that line would go all the way up. So just putting it there. And then what we'll do is add in a firewall. So I'm angling the view there. I'll press Alt and select the whole edge. I don't know why there must be some issue with too many vertices or whatever. So what I was doing, just isolating the line that I needed to extrude. So press E and extrude in the Y to get that firewall line, which we've done. Then I filled it, then realised there wasn't a vertex at the bottom in the middle. So grab the bottom vertex and press E and X and drag all the way through, but make sure that your mirror modifier's on and that clipping's enabled. Then it will lock into place. Select that whole edge loop, including the bottom one, and press F. Now we're going to hide the body so we can actually see what we're doing. So hide the body, go back into edit mode of that object. So select it, go into edit mode, and then we're going to press Ctrl and I to indent that face. So press Ctrl and I to indent the face, and then make sure that you click boundary at the bottom left, as it's shown there. We don't want, so we click the boundary there. So before you do anything else, click into the bottom and tick off boundary. So tick that off. As you can see, then it's now you can see on the angle that if you extrude all the way in, the vertices cross over. So keep an eye on that. Then get the ones that are going to cross over and press GG. If you press GG on any line, it follows the line. So if it's on a curve, it follows the curve. So if you just press G and move it on the whichever axis you're doing, it just move on that axis. If you press GG, it follows the line of the loop cut. So press E again and bring it in. And then I know we've got a face in the middle, n-gons, but we can tidy that up at the end if we really want to get it solid. Now we're going to select so go into wireframe mode, and what we're going to do now is select, so we have to go into wireframe mode, press 3 on the numpad to get into side view, press, that's it, go into then press B, range select, and select the last 2 lines of that's it. And now press P and separate the selection, which creates another object. So select that object and then rename it into firewall. So rename it as firewall. Okay, so we've got that. We bring so I've got some material set up. I couldn't see it originally, but there's brass there. I couldn't see it, so I went into the radiator to have a look. But all you got to do is click that, and I mean, I haven't shown you how to. I can't remember if I've shown you how to set up materials, but I will do when we're going into rendering stage. I just wanted to see what it was like myself. So yeah, so select, that's it, brass. So press Alt H and bring everything back. That's it, hot, and then just select the 2 items you want, so that's the body and the firewall. So select the body and the firewall, then press Ctrl I, that selects all other objects in the scene, and then press H to hide them. Excellent. Okay, and now we're looking at the angle, and I'll take another look at the image references. And as I say on these videos, just pause it where you want and take grab the screen. So grab screenshot, which you can then incorporate into your reference images. So what we're going to do is try to get that line. So we grab that outer edge and press GG and move it to where we think is the straight bit of the curve, if that makes sense, the end of the curve. And then you get the outer edge, which is that line there. Highlight that, go back into top view, and then we're bringing that in to match the width of the I was doing it wrong there, and we bring it into to match the width of the firewall and the bonnet. So that really essentially starts the curve, albeit it will be a splay. So I was just getting my bearings there. So we hide that inner line without the top two vertices. So deselect the top two vertices and then hide the rest. And then we can put another loop cut in between where the curve starts and ends. So put one smack bang in the middle of there, so Control R. Make sure the height's correct, which it is. Then we go back to those last two, which I should have done first really. So highlight those, Control B, and select everything. That's coming around quite nicely. So press Control and B, not just select the top one. So Control and B, and then bring it in on the x-axis right to the edge. Okay, and then I didn't mess around with a curve because I think the curve's pretty good. As you can see, curve's not bad at all. But what we need to do is to bring those two lines even further in to hide them. Oh yeah, I was straightening up that line. So select the whole loop cut, select the last one, make sure that active element at the top of the screen is switched on, and press S, Z and 0. There we are up there. Make sure active element is clicked on, press S, Z and 0. That's it. Okay, so where are we? So it's looking, I press Alt and H to bring back the missing vertices, but then you'll see that the top two is missing a vertex, so we'll just use the knife tool. So press K and select the first one, and you know when it's selected when there's a red line around it. Press C to constrain the angle, bring it across, then press return, then do the same for the next one. Bring it in a little bit, press C to constrain the angle, that's it, bring it across. Then all we need to do is to shape it a little bit. I think I was a bit too worried about the shaping of it. So bring that in, pull that across, so double G and pull it across a wee bit. That's it. And I think I should have just left it like that, but I didn't. Trying to get that straight, so I got that straight, and then when we look at another angle, so I'm just leveling it off in the x-axis, then bring that in, so it still doesn't work. So I moved it in the Y a little bit. Now I've pulled it out. I mean, that is good enough, really. Or it was before I started moving it. These just need to be moved in the X a tad. So I've extruded a line there to match up, and press F to fill it, which we don't need. So ignore this bit, although I rectify it in the end. But yeah, ignore that bit. Just fast forward. In the end, I'll just get rid of that vertex that I created. So we're putting loop cuts in here to tighten up the angles. I'm extruding another one. So I'm pulling that closer to the edge. Then I'm extruding out. So extruding it, I'm extruding it in the X, and then lining that up. So SX0, and then F. So pick all of those points and press F. Now we'll go into the middle of the firewall because we don't need that middle of the body, because it's a wood frame that's open-ended. So we'll just get rid of this loop cut. So press Alt and select, left mouse select, and then press X to delete it. Now we need to put 2 loop cuts in to control that sharp angle at the end. So put a loop cut in, drag it across till it's fairly close, and then one towards the end, and that'll control the angle. It's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to switch on the parts that switch on the body. Switch on the body, switch on the firewall. Then just have a cursory look to see if there's a gap, which there isn't, but I've realised that those two vertices just need to come in a bit. So select both of them. Rotate the view. Go to boundary box, and just pull them in on the X to the edge of the firewall. That's it. So the curve then matches up with that. I've just got to have a look at the detail where the firewall, because it looks like the wood's curve goes higher up on the inside. So that's where we are. So that's where we are with the model. So I'll turn the radiator on. So I'll turn the radiator on. So we've got the firewall on, the seat on, and yeah, it's looking quite good. I then looked at that because it looked a bit bit of a kink there. So what we'll do is we'll shape that in the next episode. Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry about the recording, but hopefully you've picked up everything from what I've just done. Thank you very much. Bye.